legend. He goes by the name of Tyler Converse, Connie, Condog, whatever you want to call him. Follow him on
TC,
Twitter, TC, all the things we got going on.
corn
He
dog.
is
I'm
the
here for it.
boy. I love it. I absolutely love it. I told you a little bit earlier. I'm an NFL guy. I think all these free agent signings are fucking going crazy right now. We'll go into some NBA stuff, and we got college basketball at the end, which I know you are fiending for. I know you are going crazy in the betting world right now. Um, so let's start with some free agencies. I have like literally like 20 right here, and gut reaction, whatever you want to go with. Just give me like a quick couple. Obviously, we'll go longer on a couple things, but like I got to go down the list. So this one just dropped. DeAndre Hopkins just signed a 1-year deal with the Ravens. Does that do anything for you?
Man, I love D Hop, bro. Big D Hop guy. I will be rooting for him super heavily next year, but I just don't know if he has much left in the tank. I hope he does. Would love to see him, succeed and have, a good final year or two left. But yeah, I don't know how much he has left in the tank, man. I think he's kind of washed,
I'm with.
unfortunately.
I'm definitely with you. He like when he was in KC this last year, it was like okay, Patty's got it like a good wide receiver, like he's a vet, like he was definitely brought that veteran wide receiver presence, but it wasn't like oh I'm expecting D Hop to have 120 and 10 catches.
Right. Yep. 100%. And I was talking to some of my other boys in a group chat, and I was kind of going over with them, and I was like, I hope there's one good year. And they're like, well, what's a good year? And I'm like, if he can get to 70 receptions and 800 yards, that's a pretty good year for him. Do I think he can do that? I think it's a little steep, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you got fucking Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers is still going to be a fucking dog there. I don't know what you do if you're that Ravens front office, just going down the draft board. Like the defense is still sound. You have Derrick Henry, you have Lamar Jackson. So I mean, Mark Andrews still a good tight end. Go get a big ass wide receiver. I mean, D Hop definitely helps that. I feel like, but I don't. I don't. I really don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. We'll see, man. He's getting up there in age. But yeah, I wish him the best for sure.
For sure, absolutely. This was the big. This is the. These are just filtered. Just going down the middle. We got some small ones. We got some big ass ones. The big ass one that is second on the list happens to be Aaron Rodgers. Giants and Pittsburgh are looks like he's where he's gonna land. I don't want. I think he's gonna have a better. I think he'd have more success if he went to Pittsburgh. But like the Giants are in turmoil. Like the Giants are just terrible. They're I think worse than the Jets, obviously. But like Mike Tomlin, DK Metcalf now.
Could be interesting. Could be very interesting. I used to love Aaron. This whole diva thing the last couple of years has just kind of bugged me. I don't know, he just kind of rubs me the wrong way nowadays, but I used to love the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like to see him in a Vikings uniform, if I'm being honest. I don't think it's going to happen.
Ooh.
But I would love to go see him play with Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. I mean, they got all the weapons there. As far as Pittsburgh goes, I just feel like we play that style of game where it's kind of luck it up, get a ugly, play defensive low-scoring battle. I mean, he could succeed there, I think, maybe for a year or two for sure. But I think where he could have the most success is Minnesota. So we'll see how it shakes out.
I like Minnesota. Minnesota, like all you just named a bunch of fucking dudes on that roster, and yeah, that's dope. But do you pay Aaron Rodgers $30 million for 1 year? No, I'm gonna go with the rookie that we drafted last year.
Is that kind of what he's asking for right now? I'm honestly not even sure.
I had the number I don't know, but it's Aaron Rodgers and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's not going to take a veteran minimum,
100%. No, I don't think he'll take a veteran minimum either. But I just think no. I don't know, man. I'm not sold on JJ. I think JJ is ass cheeks. If I'm being honest, I don't like the guy. I think Denver kind of baited them into doing that. But I don't know, man. Not a JJ guy. Was never a believer with JJ in Michigan. I don't think he's the guy. At least not yet. And I think he could learn a lot from Aaron if Aaron came in.
For sure, but I mean that head coach in Minnesota. I mean he's taken Kirk Cousins to another fucking record deal with the Falcons, and he turned Sam Darnold into $100 million quarterback. I think JJ McCarthy has potential in that system, kind of like a Brock Purdy with the 49ers. I mean they can lose on both sides, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where Aaron falls because he's kind of like the last piece to like actually fall. And we lost Connie. He is gone. He's gone. Let's see if he joins. Just keep going, I guess. We'll just fucking keep going. CJ Gardner-Johnson got traded to the Texans from the Eagles to the Texans. Laramie Tunsil also got traded from the Texans to the Commanders. So the Commanders are. Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm back. Had a little technical
Okay.
there.
Okay, no, you're good. I kind of just finished Aaron Rodgers with he's the last one to fall, all that kind of shit. Next one was C.J. Gardner-Johnson got traded to the Texans, and Justin Watson got traded from the Chiefs. Those don't do anything for me. It's just been such a crazy couple days of just fucking free agency that it's like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Just make note of all these fuckers, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's been wild. I mean, a lot of surprises in my opinion. Actually, the CJ Gardner-Johnson, the Texans is news to me. So thanks for breaking that to me.
yeah. He got traded. He traded to the Eagles.
I had no idea.
From the Eagles. Yeah.
Yeah. No idea.
Here's the next one. Daniel Jones signed with the Colts for a year.
That sucks, man. I'm so out on him. I mean, he had how many years in New York to like
6
prove something? I mean, he was there for 6 years, man. And how many games did he win? 6? Like, dude, no, I'm out on him, bro. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm staying so far away from Daniel Jones stock right now. Like, if you have any, fucking sell it, dude. Get rid of it, sell it.
Oh, if you haven't sold the Daniel Jones stock, you're not even breaking even. You lost money at this point.
Well, just take what you can get because he sucks.
Yeah, and who's going to be the starting QB there? I mean, you got fucking Anthony Richardson. So, what are you gonna? What's the plan? Are you gonna run a fucking wishbone offense?
So, I mean, I still believe in Anthony in a way. I do. I think if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he played like his first full year of quarterback his junior year at Florida. So he only has like 15, 20 games under his belt as a starting quarterback at highest level. So, meaning college and pros. I still believe in him. I heard he's working out with Josh Allen this summer. I think that could be really good for him, the way that Josh Allen kind of plays. I think Anthony Richardson can kind of do that as well. I'm not saying Anthony Richardson is near close to Josh Allen right now. But just kind of their play style, running game as well. I think Anthony can learn a little bit from Josh this offseason. And I hope he has a good season next year. I'm rooting for Anthony. I think he's a good quarterback. A lot of potential. A lot of arm talent.
He's got an absolute ridiculous arm. He's also I think he's 21 years old. Like the dude hasn't even scratched the surface of what he can be. So like throughout like last season I was always talking about, I was like, yeah, like I'm not sold on Anthony Richardson, but I'm not ready to give up on him because how young he is. And 100%. If he's gonna be working with Josh and shit, like that's fucking massive.
Yep, that's what I heard. That's what I saw on Twitter. I can't remember the source, so maybe don't quote me on that one. But yeah, he's working out with Josh Allen.
Najee Harris 1-year deal with the Chargers. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I just don't think Najee's that great. He's just kind of slow. He's kind of like Zeke. He's just a big dude who towers and bullies people, and he's just kind of slow. And I mean, even before Zeke was kind of watched his early days in Dallas, like Zeke was a horse, and I'm not even sure Najee's like that kind of guy yet. I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, it's cool, but I'm not sold on him being all that great, to be honest. I don't think he's that good a running back. He's a very average running back in the league.
I'd agree with everything right there, but it's like I also just want to see him in a different uniform that's not Pittsburgh and kind of see how he does,
100%.
See how he looks in that fucking baby blue. So it doesn't tickle my fancy. Let's just say that it's not giving me bricked up. You know, it's just like it's right. Good for Najee Harris.
Good for him, man. He got a pretty decent contract, so yeah, good for him, man.
For sure. And then here's just more of a question during this entire free agency in the last few days. Are the 49ers okay? Like Kyle Juszczyk got released. They traded their defensive players. Debo's gone. Like, Christian's not healthy. I don't think those Achilles are healthy yet. George Kittle's still there. But, like, are they okay?
Man, if you're a Niners fan, it might be a long year for you next year. Isn't McCaffrey – is McCaffrey a free agent, or is he under contract this next year?
I think he's got one more year on his deal.
Okay, he has one more year. Okay. Well, they still have Christian. That's what I look forward to, but I just hope he can make it through 10 games next year. I mean, shit, at this point, he's really in the field, man. But yeah, I mean, we're both Bronco guys, so I'm stoked about Greenlaw and Talafunga or something, whatever his name is. I'm stoked for those two to go to Denver. Feel bad for the Niners fans though, because they can't. I mean, there's nobody worse than the Niners right now except for the Cowboys, because they're just not signing anybody. But
yeah, I completely.
I lost you there for a second, Bryce. We're trying to reconnect here.
Sorry. Dude, this is fucking. We live in 2025. How do we not have just global connection everywhere? Why am I losing service in the middle of nowhere with my fucking phone? Anyways.
Yeah, I'm in the boonies in Phoenix, Arizona, and I mean, we got to get Starlink at this point, man. Like, this Wi-Fi sucks. Like,
dude, Starlink is fire. But you mentioned it.
Get that shit.
Yeah, you mentioned it. We got Greenlaw, we got Hufanga from the 49ers. They're Broncos fans. Like you said, we're both Denver kids. So, like, I'm a Bronco fan through and through. We got the quarterback. I think we have the quarterback. I'm 85%. You think so?
Oh, yeah. He's going to be an MVP one day, my guy.
Okay. I'm not, look, you don't twist my arm about this. I'm 100% with you. The more I hear it, the fucking more excited I get about it. But it's just like I need a second season out of him. I want to see the risks, I want the playoffs, obviously. I want a Super Bowl, but like I want to see the risks.
Yep. No, I'm with you 100%. I do. I'm a little optimistic next year for the Broncos. I know a lot of guys that come out as rookies and have really good rookie years kind of have like that sophomore slump, if you will, kind of like CJ Stroud did this year. I mean, CJ Stroud was unbelievable last year, and then this year just kind of, I wouldn't say he was bad. I mean, he was kind of bad. He was not very good this year. And he even kind of admitted that at the end of the season. He said he's got to be a lot better. So we'll see what comes from the Texans. But yeah, hopefully Bo can not avoid that sophomore slump and be as good as he was last year.
I agree. But yeah, the two fucking defensive pickups are huge. Benito and Cooper are gonna get paid next year. It's just amazing to have a young quarterback where you don't have to go out and spend a shit ton of money on a lot of players when you have the guy back there throwing the rock.
Yeah, I'm stoked as a Bronco fan, man. We're finally kind of back in a way.
Yes.
6-7 years since Manning retired?
It's been 9. We're going on a decade, brother. We're going on a decade.
Has it been that long? Oh my gosh! Wow,
it's crazy.
I guess we won the Super Bowl 2016. That was our senior year of high school. Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy. It's 2025. I'm fast, man.
Don't get me started on it. I feel fucking old already.
We're coming up on 30, brother.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me right now. I'm not doing this right now. I'm not doing this.
What's next?
Sam Darnold, 3 years, $100 million for the Seahawks. Obviously, you lose DK Metcalf. It hurts the offense. Yeah, and Tyler Lockett, he got released. They were saying, this is a little sidebar. I saw some tweet. It was like, Tyler Lockett's so old. He's posting his goodbye, his goodbye, whatever you want to call it. He posted it on Facebook. No, he posted it on Facebook.
Oh.
That's how long he's been in the league for, man. Yes.
Yeah, Facebook's man. If you guys are still using Facebook, let's hop over to Twitter, Instagram, something else, man. Let's hear. If we got any viewers up there that are like 70 plus, you guys can stick to the Facebook page. But if you young kids like me and Bruce here, let's get over to Twitter.
Hey, I get on Facebook every once in a while just to like see what's going on. But yeah, I mean, Twitter's another fucking world.
Twitter's like there's no filter on Twitter, and it's awesome. But yeah, we can move on. We don't have to talk
Sam
about it. It's
Darnold.
actually X now. So Sam Darnold.
X everything.
Flukier, in my opinion.
Fluke.
I don't know, man. If it was just the system in Minnesota, or if you just had really good weapons. The defense in Minnesota was ridiculous. I mean, they got Brian Flores over from the Dolphins, and he completely just kind of reinvented that defense. It wasn't even supposed to be very good. I mean, the Vikings as a team weren't even supposed to be very good last year, and that defense was unbelievable. He had a pretty decent offensive line. He has great skill positions. I'm not sold Darnold's that dude yet. Honestly, after the year he had, well-deserved $100 million contract. Super happy for him. I'm just personally not sold on him being $100 million quarterback. That's all I'm saying. You could definitely prove wrong, though. Could be totally wrong about him.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he goes out and does what he did kind of when he was in Minnesota. I'm kind of with you. I would say it's definitely more on it's not Kevin O'Connell. Who's the fucking head coach of Minnesota?
Yeah,
Is it Kevin O'Connell?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's definitely on. I think a lot of it is on him. That's why I'm kind of like that's why I think JJ McCarthy, Kevin O'Connell. That's why I think JJ McCarthy's not going to be bad in Minnesota because Kevin O'Connell's his OC and he's head coach. Like he's going to put him in successful situations.
I guess we'll see, man. I think JJ is Daniel Jones part 2, so we'll see.
I'm with you to a degree because I did not want the Broncos when Bo got drafted. I did not want the Broncos to touch JJ McCarthy in the slightest.
Oh, I didn't
because
either.
I thought Bo was better.
I didn't either.
Yeah, bro, I'm with you. We dodged kind of a bullet. I think JJ is probably like a nice guy. I'm not trying to shade him anyway, but I'm glad we got Bo.
Super nice guy. Bad quarterback. Bad quarterback.
He's probably a very nice human being. But yeah. 100%. Javonte Williams, 1 year, $3 million deal with the Cowboys. Happy for Javonte. He got out of Denver. We'll always have that rookie season, but is what it is at this point.
I think he is pretty good. He's kind of small. He's explosive. He can do a lot. I think he can catch. He can run. He's pretty quick. He's low plays on the ground. He breaks a ton of tackles. I don't know. I still kind of believe in Javonte. I hope he has a good year. Kind of sad we just kind of let him walk. I hope we go get somebody, in terms of the Broncos, go get somebody else, because our backfield is, I mean, Jaleel McLaughlin or whatever, he's not going to be able to be a 3-down back. And we have that other small dude who's really quick too. I forget his name, but yeah, hopefully Denver goes and gets a running back. I hope it's Junkins from Ohio State. I think that dude's a stud.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. I definitely like that. What's the other guy's name? Henderson Hudson from Ohio State. He's what is he gonna be, a junior?
Yeah. Henderson, yeah, he's no, I think he also entered the draft. I'm pretty sure.
That's what I thought, dude. I mean, that dude was a fucking freak when he was a freshman, bro. That dude was different.
Both of those guys, I'm pretty sure, are heading to the league. And I think Quinton's a steal. Judkins is. I think he can be a second or third round dude. Who's going to be? I mean, I like him more than Genty, and Genty go in the first round. I'm not like super sold on Genty. I mean, I want to see him play a little bit tougher competition than San Jose State before I kind of fully evaluate that guy. But yeah, I mean, he played AAU teams last year, so I don't really know what to think about that guy.
I would say, I think if you're a generational talent at the running back position, It's just a little bit of different what you're saying. But if you're a generational talent, which Ashton Gentry might be, I tend to lean no. I know he was in the Heisman race and all that kind of shit, but like looking at him, it's like, is he gonna change my entire offense? Probably not. Like he's definitely gonna be a factor, but like I'm not gonna spend my first round pick on him. I don't think.
I'm not either, and that's why I think if you need a running back, someone will obviously take Genty in the first
For
round.
sure.
But me being a Broncos guy, I hope we wait on a running back till later because I think there's some good value. I mean, you also got Simpson or Samson from Tennessee, who I think is also really, really good. He's going to be a later round guy as well. There's a few good sleeper running backs in this draft, I think, that could maybe not be Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry, but I think they can be very.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. I hear you. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. All right, next one. That little sidebar there. Hey, look at us go. On that tangent. Josh Sweat is going to the Cardinals. 4 years, $76 million. He played for the Eagles. He was a good pass rusher. He's getting paid. It's just one of those things where it's like the Eagles' identity on winning that Super Bowl, I think, was that defensive line getting after Patty.
Offensive line. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Both dogs in the trenches. But I mean, you still got Jordan and the other big motherfucker. I don't even know his, like, off the top of my head. I couldn't name his name. But Josh Sweat played in a good part in that defensive line, and now that Brandon Graham is retiring, Eagles go after an edge rusher, maybe somewhere from free agency or in the draft. I really don't know.
Yeah, they're definitely that's going to have to be some kind of big hole to fill, if you will, for the Eagles defense. I'm here in Phoenix now. I live here now, but so I'm pretty close to Cardinal Stadium. But Josh Sweat getting a bag going to Cardinals is great. He's going to help, but they're still going to be relevant.
Yeah, I that last sentence, chef's kiss. I mean, it had a nail in the head, whatever the fuck the saying is.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, Jets.
Yeah, I don't even know. Justin Fields to the Jets, man.
Yes.
I'm stoked for Justin. I love Justin. I was rooting for him. For the Buckeyes. I loved his national championship runs, stuff like that. What I am stoked about, but also kind of heard about, because I'm a Denver guy and I was hearing some, Garrett Wilson Broncos rumors. Unfortunately, I think he's staying put because he now is back with Justin Fields. And if you guys don't know, they played together at Ohio State. They have a great relationship, really good. So I'm excited to see that pair as long as they keep Wilson, which I assume going to get Fields, they're keeping Wilson, I assume.
You would assume. I think that's a fair assumption. I think that's a very fair assumption. I don't think they're going to be like, hey, we're going to give you this guy that you played with in college, and we're going to take him away from you. Like, that is, if you are, if there was an organization to do it, it'd probably be the fucking Jets or the Giants or, one of these dysfunctional teams that are just going to do that.
Right. 100%. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think it all kind of comes down to Garrett, because I know at least I think, just based off kind of his body language and how the end of the season for the Jets, it just kind of seemed like he wasn't super happy on being there. I think part of the reason was because Davante came in and the connection between Davante and Aaron kind of took away from Garrett in a way, and Davante had a hell of a second half of the season. And with that said, Garrett didn't really have that the second half of the season. So we'll see. If Garrett wants to stay there, then I think it could be really good. But if he's kind of I want to get out of here, I don't want to play here anymore, even if Justin's here, we'll see. Maybe he ends up somewhere else.
I agree. I mean, I think Garrett Wilson is I think he's a really good wide receiver. I think he's still super young, so I'm not gonna, make a fucking judgment call based off, a couple of years in the league. I do think it's been quarterback. I mean, he's cycled through a couple quarterbacks, so it's tough.
Some tough ones.
But some tough ones. You mentioned him, Davante Adams to the Rams. I fucking love this move by the Rams. I love it.
Me too, and I didn't see it coming from 3 miles away, bro. I had no idea this was even a landing spot for him, and I'm stoked for the guy. I think
Zero.
Him and Staffy, Yeah, zero. Like I had no. That was one of the biggest shocks to me. But yeah, I'm stoked. I think him and Staffy probably have maybe 2 good years left. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully they can figure some shit out and make a little run in the playoffs. And who knows? Maybe Stafford can get back to the Super Bowl in the NFC. It's still pretty weak in my opinion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Rams are in the AFC or the NFC, right? Yes.
Yes. Oh, and we lost him again. Davante,
I'm back.
there he
I'm
is.
back.
There he is.
Man, I'm telling you, we need Starlink out here. Fuck.
Davante Adams, I love it. I think, like you said, it changes the dynamic of the offense a little bit. You kind of got a big ass wide receiver now. I love Cooper Kupp. I think he was fucking phenomenal with the Rams. I think him and Stafford had a great connection, but Stafford, like you said, Stafford's getting old. You kind of swap him. You kind of swap Cooper out for Davante, and it's kind of like a. I'm not going to say seamless fit, but it's a good enough fit where like I know Cooper Kupp can be a true one or a really good second somewhere. Vice versa, Davante Adams is getting older. You got Puka Nacua, who's a fucking freak in that fucking slot, even outside receiver position. So it's like, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it.
Me too. Me too. I'm stoked for Davante. He got a pretty good contract as well. I thought maybe he was going to sign for a little bit lower of number, but he got a pretty big bag for being how old he is.
Yeah.
But no, super
all right.
well, I hope him and Staffy go out, and can make a little run in the playoffs. These next, I think they probably have 2 years left, maybe.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah. All right, these last couple ones we'll just kind of rip through. Chris Godwin stays with the Bucs. He signed like a $44 million deal. Shout out to him and shout out to Baker.
Yeah, and I heard he left $20 million on the table to stay in there. What a loyal dude! I love that. I love that about guys. I love when people take a little bit less money and stay in their hometown because I know he's happy. I know he loves Baker. And that little trio between Baker, Mike Evans, and him is just awesome. And Mike's also kind of getting up there in age too. So we'll see how long they can put it together for the next couple of years.
I agree. I think it's dope. Josh Allen signed that fat ass 6-year deal, $330 million deals, 250 guaranteed, the largest guarantee in the fucking NFL history. That is fucking stupid. But shout out Josh Allen, MVP. Just gotta get through the Chiefs, baby. Just gotta get through the Chiefs.
Yeah, man. I mean, at this point too, I don't want to. I don't know what to call this exactly, but I think this could be the start of the downfall for the Chiefs. We'll see. I mean,
okay.
I could totally be wrong. I'm also a hater. I hate that team. So maybe that's just
you're not shocking anyone here.
Yeah. And if you're a Chiefs fan, just go find somebody else to watch, man. I'm sorry.
No, he's going on a rant. He was going on a rant. No. But I mean, Chiefs hater. He's back again. I'm with you.
Well, I am back. I'm not sure where.
Can you hear me? Mic check. Oh no, not that quick. Chiefs hater for sure. I mean, he's a Denver fan. I'm a Denver fan. I'm a Chiefs hater. I was pre-Chiefs hater. Let me say that. I was a hater of the Chiefs before kind of Patrick Mahomes. I was a big Priest Hole fan, but like I was a big Alex Smith guy too. Continue what you were saying on Converse with the Chiefs and the hating.
I was just saying, like, man, if you like the Chiefs, we might upset you a little bit, so maybe go watch somebody else. That's all I gotta say. Because
the clips that I've posted on YouTube, or was it Ohio State? I think Ohio State and Chiefs fans are like almost synonymous. They're the same exact people.
I mean, I can put up with Ohio State, man. I don't mind Ohio State, but I
Oh
totally
yeah,
get it.
you have a you have Ohio State background. I should have brought that up.
Yeah.
Miles. Go ahead. No. Uh,
Here.
this is a brutal fucking river. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, Miles Garrett, $123.5 million guaranteed. I saw a tweet when he signed this deal. It was like, hey, you know what? 4-13 doesn't sound that bad after you sign a fucking $120 million deal.
Well, I hope he's okay with going 4-14 because that division is tough. I mean,
bro.
the Ravens aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The Bengals look like they're bringing the crew back together, and I think the Bengals defense, even if they don't get anybody, it can't be worse than it was last year. And the last 6 or 8 weeks, they kind of started to come on a little bit. Not saying it was a great defense, but they play a lot better towards the second half. So even if they don't get anybody on defense, I think that defense can play a lot better than what they did last year. I mean, like I said, it can't get any worse than those first 6 to 8 weeks. It was bad.
Terrible, just absolutely terrible. Gino to the Raiders. I mean, reuniting with Pete Carroll. That's the big headline in this entire signing or trading kind of thing. Shout out to Gino for getting paid again, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's ready to go 4-13 as well because that division is also really, really tough. So I don't see the Raiders competing at all. I mean, maybe even if it is the start of the Chiefs' downfall, they're still beating the Raiders here. The Broncos aren't going anywhere. The Chargers are obviously getting a lot better with Harbaugh now. I believe in Justin Herbert as well. So, yeah, I mean, the Raiders are probably going to be pretty irrelevant for the next couple of years while Gino and Pete Carroll are reuniting their friendship there. But, yeah, I hope they have fun going 4-13 as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Pete Carroll's 81. Pete Carroll's 81. Geno Smith is
81.
He's some fucking crazy number like that. Yeah, he's an old head.
Yeah, see, at that point, like, why are you still coaching, man? Like, at that time, just put me on my deathbed. That's fine.
But I mean, but here's the thing. That's how shocked you were right there. Like, you didn't even know. Let me look. Pete Carroll age. Oh, sorry. That was a complete lie. Complete lie. He's 73.
Okay.
I thought he was.
I mean, still 73 is old, man, for a football. I mean, he's got to be the oldest head coach in the NFL, right?
Yeah,
he's got to be.
I think he is the oldest.
It's probably not even close.
Yeah, not even close. I think he is the oldest one. And then just sticking with the Raiders, Max Crosby. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. We can talk about. I was gonna say enough with the Raiders, but we can talk about Max because Max is a dog. I actually fucking love Max. If you don't love Max, then, like, if you don't root for that guy, then, like, I don't know, like, who are you rooting for? Patrick Mahomes? Like, no, absolutely not. So, I agree. Max is a dog, bro. I love Max. I kind of wish he'd get out of Vegas and the Raiders, but whatever. I guess he's kind of happy there. He's getting the bag, but he's a dope dude. Big Max guy.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said earlier, you respect the loyalty to one team, whether they're ass. You ride them through the highs, you ride them through the low. 100%. Got a fat ass deal out of it. I mean, he's gonna be the king of Las Vegas. He's gonna go down in probably their ring of honor as probably maybe one of the best players to ever play through that entire team. But yeah. All right. You got anything that I missed? Anything that you want to talk about? Anything you want to reiterate? Floor is yours.
You know, I think you covered most of the ones that I saw. I haven't been super in tune with the signings. I mean, obviously, I've been kind of following them. For me, like Bryce mentioned, I'm a big college basketball guy, and it's that time of the year. It's March. So I'm locked in on CBB. Right now. But yeah, I think you covered most of the ones that I was seeing for sure.
Okay. Well, fucking you said it, so let's just fucking talk about it. College basketball. It's March. It is, I said this last week. I said it the week before. We were loading in March. We're in March. All these kind of things. I like college basketball. It's not my number one, but I know that I love watching college basketball, especially March. I hand up. Hey, you see this? This is the hand of accountability and ownership. I'm a casual when it comes to college basketball. Okay, I love the tournament. Tournament's fantastic. I'll watch some of the conference championships
Awesome.
games, but it's just one of those things where I try to keep an eye on it around first few weeks of the season, the Maui Invitational, and then I lose track because of the NFL playoffs and all that kind of shit.
Nope. Hey, that's respect, man. Everyone's got their own thing. But yeah, mine's college basketball. I freaking love the sport. I think there's nothing like it. I mean, in terms of obviously in March, you're playing neutral courts, but during the regular season, some of those home courts, I mean, those big time games, Duke, UNC, they're just, the atmosphere is electric, man. There's really nothing like it, and because of the enclosed environment of a basketball arena, it just makes it that much larger than a football game. So yeah, I'm a big college basketball guy. I just think there's so much swagger and rhythm to the game of basketball. And the college kids just really bring that out. It's a lot of fun to watch.
For sure, absolutely. When I was watching the game, I don't think I texted you about it, but I was watching that Florida Alabama game last week, and then you hear I think it was Spears. The point guard for Bama hits that floater, and I jumped off the couch because I was like, oh shit. So with leading that into it, I was saying that I think I trust. What was I saying last week? It was, do I trust Bruce Pearl over Nate Oates in the tournament to get the job done? Maybe. I love Bruce Pearl for some reason. I don't know what it is about that man. He is I think he's a legend in my eyes. I like Nate Oates.
He's a legend.
Yes, he's an absolute fucking legend.
100%.
So if you were in the tournament and you're playing, say you have two pass, right? And you're like, I'm going to go play in this team at the current stage that you're not in the current stage, but say you're, a college basketball player. Which coach are you taking? And are you going, I mean, I know you love to run and gun threes, but if you had a fundamental belief, which coach are you going towards?
Me personally, like Bryce said it, I play college basketball, man. I like to get up and down the floor, shoot a lot of threes, maybe not play as much defense. But yeah, and if that's the case, if that's what you want to get up and down, you want to shoot threes, you want to kind of take a few plays off on defense, go play for Nate Oates. Although that team, I will say, has been a lot better defensively this year than they have been in the past. But if you want to go play for a guy that will just bring the ultimate intensity and dog and fight, that's Pearl. I mean, that dude is as intense as it gets on the sideline. I watch a lot of his, I don't know to watch, but just clips that pop up on social media of him in the post game, the locker room, and it was the game that they played Auburn. Auburn played Bama. It was the first matchup when it was in Alabama. Bama was favored by 2 points, I believe. And Bruce Pearl's in the locker room saying, how many losses do we have? And they'd all say 0. How many losses do they have? And, they had 6 or whatever at the time. And he's like, we're one for a reason. I mean, he just makes you want to run through a brick wall, dude. I mean, Bruce Pearl is the ultimate intensity guy. And you got to have some stones. You got to be able to be coachable. You're going to have to be able to take a lot of criticism playing for a guy like Bruce Pearl, and I think the same goes for Tennessee's and Rick Barnes as well. They're tough guys to be coached by, but if you can handle all that, man, you're gonna win some games.
I agree. I completely agree. I couldn't have said it by myself because I don't know the fucking ins and outs like you do. My next thing was Gonzaga. I mean, I know they lost a bunch of players.
I'm watching Gonzaga and St. Mary's in the Western or the WCC Conference Championship right now. It's got it in my background. I'm watching.
It's always fucking Gonzaga and St. Mary's in that championship at the end of the year. In the last 5 years, I can't think of the last time that happened.
I'll tell you when the last time it was. It was 2007 was the last time one of these two teams did not win this conference. So it's been a long fucking time. Yeah, I mean, I saw yesterday that these two teams, St. Mary's and Gonzaga, have played more times in the last 25 years than any other matchup. And you think about some big time matchups that play every year, especially twice. I mean, Duke and UNC, they play twice every single year. And how many times have they met in the ACC tournament? How many times have they met in the NCAA tournament? I mean, maybe met in the Final Four. Was that 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So just for Gonzaga and St. Mary's, the most played matchup in college basketball the last 25 years is pretty crazy. It also just goes and shows the greatness of what these two programs are and these coaches. I mean, Mark Few's been at Gonzaga forever, and they always are just legit. This is like a down year for them, and they're still going to be like a 6th seed in the tournament. So, yeah, we'll see. I think both these teams are awesome. They're going to be tough outs in March.
For sure. I mean, it's always, like I said, I never see different teams in that fucking WCC conference. And St. Mary's, last year got Gonzaga's number, if my memory serves me right. So I don't know. I don't know where Gonzaga's at on this fucking big board. I haven't looked at the last 4 out. I haven't looked at the last 4 in. What are we thinking with Gonzaga, even St. Mary's?
Yeah, I think St. Mary's right now is going to be probably 4 or 5 seed, probably a 4 seed. They're ranked in the top 25. Gonzaga is not ranked in the top 25. They'll probably be like a 6 or 7 seed if I had to guess. But I don't know if I'd want to be if I'm a mid-major school, I don't want to see Gonzaga in the first round. They have a lot of size. Graham Ike is an absolute bully underneath. I mean, he's like DeMarcus Cousins in college basketball, but he just doesn't quite have that shot like DeMarcus did. But inside, I mean, he is a bully. He drew 7 fouls in their game last night that I watched. He's like the only reason they won that game. They kind of struggled against San Fran. And San Fran was missing their best player, Marcus Williams. But, yeah, I mean, Graham Ike was the reason they won that game last night and are playing this game today. He's a beast. Nimhart is one of 5 dudes in the last, I think, 30 seasons, it said, to average 10 assists throughout a college basketball season. Him, Yuri Collins, as of late, John Morant did his senior year, junior, whatever year his last year was at Murray State. There hasn't been very many last 30 seasons. That, and he's done it. I think he's probably the best actor in college basketball. It's like one Hickman, Huff, who's also really good. That guy's got a bunch of good dudes. They've had some tough losses this year. They lost to a couple schools in conference. They lost to Santa Clara. Santa Clara made like 23s that game. But yeah, Gonzaga is going to be a tough out. Analytically and like metrically, if you look at like net rankings, I don't know if anyone's familiar with KenPom. It's a website you can go. It's basically their own rankings of college basketball. It's all based off analytics and data and statistics and stuff like that. A lot different than the AP pool, but Gonzaga, I believe, ranks in the top 10 in those metrics. So,
oh shit, I did not know that. Oh my.
Yeah, they're really, really good, and just because they account for like who you play, where you play them, how bad did you win or lose. And Gonzaga's losses have all been by very, very narrow margin. They don't have many losses of like 10 plus points, I don't think. All of them are really close games, and that's why metrically they're just so good. And defensively, their defensive ratings are off the charts this year, which isn't usually the typical Gonzaga team. Usually Gonzaga kind of up and down, score a lot of points and shoot a lot of threes. They still do that. They don't shoot the 3-ball well, and they're a lot better defensively this year. But, yeah, Gonzaga is a very high ranking KenPom. I can pull KenPom up, but I'm almost positive they're in the top 10 for KenPom.
Yep. You know what? And here's the thing. I'm not going to fact check you. I'm just going to be blown away that the fact that you pulled that stat out of your ass like that. So I was impressed with it. So, I mean, I trust him.
Basketball's my shit.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. The other one that I wanted.
Gonzaga's 9th on KenPom.
9th. Perfect.
And they're not
so
even
you were right. You had
5 in the country.
Exactly. Like you said, they're going to be fucking dangerous in the tournament. You don't want to play them. I remember filling on my bracket last year. I think they made the round of 32. And I was like, oh, they'll probably get knocked out here. But I think they made it to what, Sweet 16 last year? Elite 8? I don't even remember.
I can't remember how far they went. I believe I know for sure they went to the Sweet 16 because in the first round they played McNeese. And McNeese was one of those teams that everyone was super high on. It was kind of, you know, when it comes to March and tournaments, when the public and everyone loves an underdog in the first round, it just never comes through. It's always the ones you don't expect. And everyone loved McNeese to beat Gonzaga last year.
Yeah.
And McNeese was, I think they had like 3 or 4 losses going into the tournament. I don't think they lost a single game in conference. They were an absolute wagon in their conference. Their conference sucks, but their coach is Will Wade. He came over from LSU like 3 years ago and completely just changed the culture there at McNeese, and everyone just loved him last year going to the tournament. Well, Gonzaga beat them by 20 plus. I don't remember exactly how bad it was, but they beat the brakes off them. And then they beat Kansas in the second round after Kansas survived a really scare to Samford in the first round last year. And so I know they moved on and beat Kansas in this round of 32. I can't remember who their matchup was in the Sweet 16, but I know they at least made it there.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely won a little run this year. The second one, before we start diving into, like, last 4 out, not even last 4 out, but like another one that I have been, how do I want to say this, upset about. I mean, again, I'm a casual college basketball fan, but UConn. I mean, Danny Hurley, I fucking love the guy. He is an ultimate coach in my eyes. He's a crazy person, but I absolutely love how crazy he is. They lost some seniors for sure. I mean, going back to back is, fucking unheard of, especially in that fucking March Madness tournament. Like, it's crazy. The down year that they've had. I mean, what's the fix?
Going back to back, going back to the last 2 years though. It's not even like that they won back to back years. It's still they won. I mean, they covered every single spread both years.
Yes.
I believe last year they didn't have a single game within 10 points. I mean, they were just so dominant, and I personally have never seen a team do that. Last year's UConn team was the best college basketball team I had ever seen until I watched Auburn play at the Maui Invitational, and they came back at 18 against Iowa State.
Oh, okay.
And after that game, I went and put $100 on them to win the national tournament at plus 1,500. So I got $100 on that. Like 3 weeks later, they were plus 400.
Yeah.
This Auburn team is disgusting. I originally thought they were better than the UConn team from last year. After kind of watching the last month of the season, probably not quite as dominant as that UConn team last year, but they are still very good.
Yeah. Like that stat that you just said, I mean, UConn covering the spread is, I mean, you know how hard it is to cover a fucking spread night in and night out, especially in the tournament? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And they did every game 2 years in a row. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I think we'll see that. If we do see it again, it'll be a long time.
Yeah. A very long time.
I think. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I mean, the last time that someone went even back to back was that 07-08 Gators team with fucking Joakim Noah, and like that team was stupid as it was.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of forgot what I was going to say, but yeah, I agree.
My bad.
You're good.
You mentioned them though. They've been on my radar for kind of just like a little bit. Again, I get my news through Twitter. I get my news through podcasts and all that kind of stuff, sports news especially. I've seen Iowa State play once. Talk to me about, like, are they legit contenders to win this entire thing?
Yes, I think so. And it's funny that you say that too, because I actually placed a future on them this morning to win the Big 12 tournament. I don't know I think they can win the national tournament for sure. They have the guard play. A couple things you need in March. You need a team that's going to be able to play defense. I mean, I think the last 20 years there's only been one team, which was that Kemba Walker UConn team. But other than that Kemba Walker UConn team, every team has been in the top 20 for defensive offensive ratings or something like that, I think. So I mean, there's not very many teams, but Iowa State is there defensively. They are there offensively, and you need good guard play. You need those guards to make threes in March. And they have that. They have 2 guards. Curtis Jones comes off the bench. He's a 6th man. He's the best 6th man in the country. He leads the team in scoring off the bench. Just a dog, shoots threes, can get to the rim, makes his free throws. Does sometimes take some questionable shots, but I mean, when you have the ultimate green light and you're the best team, sometimes you take those shots. But yeah, him, Curtis Jones, and then Keyshawn Gilbert as well. Their starting point guard is an absolute dog offensively, defensively. He's a pest. And they have a little guy named Tane Lipsey, who I think is atrocious on the offensive end. But defensively is just a menace. He can get after you, press full court all game long. He can basically you can put him on the other team's best player, and he can just completely take them out of the game. So yeah, I think Iowa State's dangerous. They have two really good big guys as well, Joshua Jefferson, and then their big foreign white dude, Milo, some foreign last name. I don't even want to try to pronounce it, but yeah, he's also a stud. Can shoot the three, stretch four, super long, super lengthy. He's like a taller, skinnier, longer Kevin Love in a way. So really like Iowa State's chances, especially in the Big 12. I think they're probably at plus 100. I mean, Houston plus 100 in the Big 12, and then they're the favorites. Obviously, Texas Tech is next, like plus 250. Iowa State's thrown at like plus 450, plus 500, which I think is great value for them.
Yeah. Give me, I mean, other than like the big ones that we talked about, you're the ones that aren't going to be ones or two seeds. Yeah, that's it. You read my fucking mind because I literally have dark horse question mark. I have that written down. I mean, it's a tournament, right? So, like, anyone can have a Cinderella story. Anyone can be a fucking dark horse, obviously, unless you're a top 3 seed. But, yeah, dark horse that you are loving or have your eyes on that could sniff out a Cinderella moment. Talk to me about it.
So, there's honestly a bunch of teams, man. I mean, and that's actually that brings back to the point where I was going to talk about where I stopped forgot what I was going to say. What I was going to say is with NIL nowadays, I mean, guys are so much more spread out. You see just more talent going to other teams because a lot more schools have a lot of money than we probably think and are able to offer that to dudes. And that's why you see teams like Vanderbilt, for example. I mean, Vanderbilt, when is the last time Vanderbilt's been relevant in football or basketball? They're relevant in both this year. They're obviously had a really good run with that little Diego Pavia guy in football, and then come over to basketball. They got the James Madison head coach who he took James Madison to the tournament last year and upset Wisconsin in the first round, and went to the second round. He came over to Vanderbilt, completely changed the culture. They had a new transfer, a big dude, Carey, who's a fully inside beast. They got Hogart from Michigan State. They got Jason Edwards from North Texas. They're dogs, but yeah, like I said, that's just kind of an example of NIL, and teams getting a lot better. So the tournament's deep this year. Vanderbilt could be a dark horse. They could make a little run. They shoot a lot of threes. They get up and down the court. They just don't play a lot of defense. But my top dark horses, I'm going to stick to mid-major. I'm going to try to stay away from Power 5 schools because I think all the Power 5 schools are really fucking good. But sure. Mid-majors, VCU is disgusting. Yeah. I'm not sure how much of a dark horse they are. I think their record's got to be like 25-5. They only have 5 losses. They're not in the top 25, but they are really good. Max Shulga, who was the A10 Player of the Year, stud. Think he can make a lot of noise. He was first team all-conference as well. They have 2 guys, Zeb Jackson, the lefty who can shoot the 3, and then another guard. I forget his name, but a little short dude with dreads who's just a little pest too and can also shoot 3. They're good. VCU is going to be a tough out. They play really good defense. It's kind of the same blueprint or footprint, whatever you want to say, and as they had, when they made that Final Four run as like an 11 seed that one year. It's the same kind of team in terms of style of play. They want to press you all game, turn you over, force turnovers, get up and down, and then shoot some threes. But also be very efficient in the paint as well. Love VCU. I think they could honestly make an Elite 8 run. Final Four might be pushing it, but I think that's mid-major school. I think they could definitely go to Elite 8 if the matchups are correct. And then Drake. Drake's a very interesting story. Drake lost their head coach and their best player to West Virginia. Oh, no.
Yeah. No. He even called it. If you hear it, he talks about it. He says, "Oh no, oh no." Let's see if he comes back. If he comes back, we can keep going. Oh, there he is. Copy. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. You were saying something about Drake, West Virginia. Up. What
Can you
is
hear me? Can you
this?
see me?
Yes, there's two of you now, so I don't know what the fuck this is.
It only shows one on my screen.
It says there's two of you on my screen.
Hang on. Let me try to read.
There you go. There you go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? None of this is getting edited out either. Yep. You know what? Let's just run with it. I can see. Nah, it doesn't matter. Let's just run with it.
Okay, we'll run with it. Yeah, what I'm saying is Drake is an interesting story this year, man. They lost their best player and their head coach to West Virginia, Tucker DeFries, and then the head coach Devin DeFries, I want to say his name is. I can't remember, but yeah, Drake got a Division II coach. I want to say Northwestern State. He came over from, and he brought like half the team over from Division II to Drake. They came in not having great expectations, considering they're a bunch of D2 guys. We're kind of supposed to be mid-pack in the Missouri Valley Conference. Well, they steamrolled pretty much everyone in that conference. Just won their conference tournament yesterday or 2 days ago as well. They are going to be a tough out of March just the way they play. It's super boring to watch. It's not fun. It's like Virginia. They walk the ball court every time, and they just run their sets. And they're very efficient. They execute their plays and their sets, and it's hard to guard. No one has really figured it out in the Missouri Valley Conference. They did lose a few games. I want to say like 2. Yeah, they're going to be a tough out just because the way they play. They're going to slow you down. They're going to make you guard in the half court. And they play great defense. It's not like a bunch of like super athletic guys who are going to press full court, but they just get in a stance. They play gap line, and they're just going to guard very, very well. They're really well coached. They have a bunch of Division II guys who are clearly very hungry at Division I level. Yeah, I'm stoked to watch Drake. Even though it's not really fun to watch, but they could definitely make some noise because of the way they play. I love Drake this year as well.
Yeah, and I mean again, for me, like you said, I'm not paying attention to all these fucking stats. I want some upsets here and there. I want the really good teams to fucking show that they're really good, and then the middle of the pack, I just want you to put up a fight. I don't want you to get blown out. I mean, it could happen on any given night. But that's kind of what I want. I don't need a 116 anymore. I really don't. It happened twice. I need those 5-12s to hit. I need those, the 9-8 matchups to go down to fucking overtime and someone hit a game winner. I don't need the upsets. I just want good basketball and shit that's supposed to happen. Now, that's easier said than done because it is the most fucking diabolical playoff system that we have. But
it's crazy, man.
It's ridiculous. My next team that I had my eyes on, again, they're not a 1 seed or going to be the overall 1 seed. Obviously, it's Duke, Auburn, Houston, Florida. I think those are pretty locked in, right? Or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, I would say so. I think Duke and Auburn especially because of the amount of quad wins they have, and just the resume that they've built over the year, is definitely a 1 seed. Duke doesn't have as good of a resume just because the ACC blows. So they didn't play nearly as tough as competition as Duke, as Auburn, but they will definitely be a 1 seed as well. And then, Houston's probably locked up as a 1 seed as well, no matter what they do in the Big 12 tournament. And then, I think the last one, right now it's Florida. But if somehow Florida maybe loses their first game in the SEC tournament and Tennessee advances a little bit further, I think Tennessee has a chance to jump them. I don't think it'll happen because I don't think Florida is going to lose their first game. I think they are honestly going to win the SEC tournaments. But I don't see those 1 seeds changing. I think it's probably Florida. The 2 teams that I can maybe see sneaking in there is Tennessee and Michigan State. Tennessee has to go further in the SEC than Florida, and Michigan State is going to have to probably win the Big Ten, and Florida's probably going to have to drop that first game, like I said, for them to sneak up there and Florida to drop.
I like Michigan State a lot this year. I know that they don't have they're not the biggest or most athletic guys compared to other teams, but they got fucking Izzo on their side, so they're always going to be around in that later stages.
100%. I mean, I have a little saying. It's January, February, Izzo, April.
Yeah.
The dude just. I mean, it doesn't matter what team he has, man. I mean, there was one year they were a 7 seed with like Denzel Valentine.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else was on that squad, but they had a damn good squad. Just kind of battled some injuries in an up and down year, and then ended up being a 7 seed. They went to the Final Four that year. But yeah, Izzo just knows what to do. And what's crazy about Michigan State is like, I really think that this is Michigan State's like worst team in the last like 5-ish years, but like they're still up there. I mean, they're the top of the Big Ten. I'm pretty sure they won the Big Ten. Maybe fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure they won the Big Ten. Yeah, I mean, Izzo's always there. You can't count him out. I will say, personally, I do think this is it's not a down year because their record was so good and they won the Big Ten. I just don't believe in Michigan State for whatever reason. I think this is the year where maybe they get upset. They're kind of on the other end of that, train. I do think the right matchup can come in. I don't think a 15 seed can get them. There are a few teams, small schools, that could be 15 seed that could maybe get around for their money. I think Lipscomb's one of those teams. I think it's going to probably go to the 13 or 12 seed, but just kind of depending on who they get as a 15 seed. I don't see them losing to a 15 seed. That next round will be either a 7 or a 10 seed. And there's some dangerous 7 10 seeds out there. So, yeah, I think Michigan State, I personally will probably have them losing somewhat earlier than most people.
Ooh, okay. That's a little hot take.
They just don't shoot the 3 that well. They have one guy, Jaden Akins, who can kind of fill it up from 3, but he's super inconsistent. Other than that, I mean, Jason Richardson has come on a lot. He's the son of his name is Jace Richardson. He's the son of Jason Richardson, who played in the NBA.
Yeah. Cooper.
He's a true freshman. Beginning of the year, he struggled. He came off the bench, was only playing like probably 10 minutes a game, just couldn't really find his knit within the team. But this last half of the year, he's been inserted to the starting lineup, and he's been balling. He can fill it up from 3. He is their best player, I think, but he's a true freshman. He's kind of young. Kind of sometimes youth comes back to bite you in the ass in March. So I don't know. I think Michigan's bigs, they have 2 bigs, Zapala and like Coker or Kohler, who are just 2 big, white, stiff dudes. Like, they don't move very well. They don't have a ton of coordination. When you watch them run, it's kind of like it doesn't look like a gazelle. It's not pretty. I don't know, man. I'm not buying any Michigan State stock in March this year, unfortunately.
Okay.
And they could totally prove me wrong. They could make it to the Final Four, and I'm gonna look like a clown. But
yeah, you know what? Stand by it. I'm not gonna hate you for it. Stand by that take. I mean, they're gonna be right now. I just looked at it. They're gonna be a 2 seed. So I mean, if they get bounced early by that whatever seeded team it is, look back at this clip and be like, I was fucking right. But if they make it to the Final Four and maybe even win the Natty, which any team can get hot at the right time. Exactly. And then you're gonna look back at this clip and be like, I'm a fucking idiot.
I was a fool. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see how it shakes out, man. But yeah, I'm personally not buying any Michigan State stock this year in March.
Okay. Totally fair.
I think the team to watch out for in the Big Ten is Maryland.
You know what? I do like that team. I watched a little bit of them. A few weeks ago, I watched the end of one of their games, and I was like, "Oh, okay, they look solid." That's my feeling of college basketball. Sometimes, like, "Oh, this team on this night, sure, they're gonna make a deep run."
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Maryland is really good. Their starting 5, I think, is maybe one of the best starting 5 lineups in the entire country, maybe just behind Auburn or Florida. But that starting 5, I mean, you got Jacoby Gillespie, who's their starting point guard, came over from Belmont, who is just a little fire crotch, man. I mean, he's a rocket. flying up and down the court, shoots threes. He's just a little guy. But he plays hard on defense. He finds his open teammates, and they have two wings, at the 2 guard and 3 guard position, Rodney Rice and Selton Miguel, who are both transfers. Rodney Rice, I can't remember where Rodney Rice came from. Selton Miguel came from South Florida. He was the player of the year in whatever South Florida was in last year. But those two guys can do it up in three. Super dangerous, good free throw shooters, and they have some good after on the defensive end. And they have two big guys, Derek Queen, who's a freshman who played with Cooper Flag last year at where were they at? Montverde Academy, yep, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right. One of those big ass schools.
Yep. So he's a true freshman. He's one of the best bigs in the entire country. I'm pretty sure he's up whatever award is like the center of the year for college basketball. I'm pretty sure he's one of the finalists for that award. He's a stud, and they have another guy. He's a true freshman. The other big guy is Julian Reese, who's an upperclassman who's also a stud. I mean, Queen can shoot a little bit from outside. Reese is more of an inside post up back to the basket guy, but both really good. I mean, and those starting five is, to me, the best starting five. Their bench and their depth is one thing that does scare me, which is a little bit concerning for March, especially because in March you do need some depth because you're playing a lot of games in a short amount of time. So if one of those big guys gets in foul trouble, they could be in trouble. But if they stay healthy, stay fresh, their bench can give them just a little bit of scoring and production. I think they're going to be a really, really tough out in March. And the other team to look out for in the Big Ten is Illinois. Illinois has been kind of banged up all year, ton of injuries, can't really get healthy, but they finally are fully healthy from what I know. And they are going to be a tough out as well. Super young, though. Illinois is young, a lot of youth. Sometimes that comes back to bite you in the ass, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. I like that. Keep your eyes out for Maryland and Illinois. Transitioning over to the Big East.
Yep.
St. John's, Pitino, the man. I love him.
Pitino. I do too.
I think from what I have heard, again, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but like Pitino has always been him. These legendary coaches always get the most out of their players. It's just something in their nature that they do it, right? I mean, when you look back at this Louisville team, back when they won it, what was that? 20 years ago, something like that, 10, 15 years ago? I don't know. But they weren't the best three-point shooting team. Yeah, they weren't the best three-point shooting team. You look at this St. John's team, they're not the best three-point shooting team either, but they have just absolute dogs everywhere on this fucking floor.
Man, they get after it. They are fun to watch. They play so hard, and that's all because of Rick Pitino, man. He gets his guys to buy into his system. I mean, this is only his second year at St. John's, and he's already at the top of the Big East. It's insane. It's truly remarkable. Their best player, I mean, they have two guys who just are absolute studs. Dude can't really make a basket outside 15 feet. But he gets to his spots in that 12 to 15 area and rises up. He jumps so high, no one can block his shots, and it's so quick, too. I mean, right off the dribble into his pull-up, and it's such a high release. It's not the prettiest of shots, but it goes in, especially from 12 to 15 feet. He's so good in the mid-range, which is weird because, like, the mid-range kind of seems like it's out of today's game. Like we were talking about Bama and Nate Oates earlier. Nate Oates is a very analytical coach. They shoot – they're either – Nate Oates preaches this. I mean, it's either threes, layups, free throws. He does not want mid-range.
No.
They take like 2% of their shots from mid-range, which is by far the smallest margin in the country. I bet St. John's is probably the top of the country for most mid-ranges taken throughout the year. But, yeah, and the other dude, Lewis. I'm forgetting RJ Lewis.
Sure.
I can't remember his first name now, Lewis. But, yeah, he's their other stud. He can shoot it from three. And he also defends, plays really well, gets to the rim, finds his guys. St. John's is going to be a tough out in the tournament. My only concern with St. John's is like this is like the first year that St. John's is this good. St. John's has obviously made the tournament before, been really good. But, like, there's kind of a little bit of pressure on them this year being the number one seed out of the Big East. We'll see how they do in the tournament. They do play the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden, which is their home court. So they'll have a little bit of home court advantage there. UConn always travels well because they're so close to Madison Square Garden, and they both have a chance to meet in the championship game. And what a game that would be! I'm hoping it happens. I think UConn and St. John's Big East championship would be freaking awesome, especially because those two crowds there at Madison Square.
Yes. I mean, the fact that they have MSG as their home court, I think, unfair. But it's so also so sick at the same time.
Right. I mean, but you can't ever like the Big East tournament is known for like the Madison Square Garden. Like it's just like it's so iconic, man. That tournament's iconic, dude. It's awesome.
Yes. You've talked about him, and we talked about him a little bit. I love Bama this year. I really do. I love the way they play. Like you said, they don't take mid-range. It's layups and threes. Their mid-range game is considered a layup. I don't know the odds on Bama right now. I think they're really good. I think this is their best chance, maybe other than 2 years ago, is to win the Natty this year.
If you remember, Bama made the Final Four last year.
Yeah.
So my only concern is obviously UConn won it back years, but like it's tough to go back to the Final Four after you just did it. Last year, I think this year's team is definitely better than last year for sure. My only thing with Bama is like a month ago, I would have said, yeah, buy all the Bama stock. They have a really good chance to win the national tournament. But after watching them this past month, after they played Auburn twice now, they did beat Auburn on the road. And then they played Florida too, and they lost to Florida pretty badly. And then they lost at home to Auburn as well. And just watching them play those two teams, like if you're going to win the national tournament, I think you're going to have to probably go through Duke, Auburn, or Florida, or one of those top teams. And I just don't think Bama plays enough defense to keep up with those guys. I mean, watching them against Florida put up almost 100 points. Auburn put up 90 points on them. I think they're going to get away when playing those other schools that maybe aren't as good. They're not going to Bama's not going to get upset, in the first round or two. But once they start playing some teams who are really, really good offensively, I just think that the way they play, they just don't play defense to win a national tournament, in my opinion.
Fair. That's a fair take. I respect that take because you're probably right. You can't be giving up 100-plus points in a fucking college basketball game, and they're gonna run and gun like we talked about. But yeah, I mean defense. I'm an old head. I'm an old head at heart. Defense wins championships in most sports, most team sports. Right? Would you concur? I think he's gonna concur. I don't know what he's gonna say. He left again. I got one more team I want to ask him about. One more team. Come on back. Come on back. Come on. Come on. Come on. There he is. There he is.
I'm back.
There he is. Okay.
I need to call Starlink after this.
I got two last questions for you. Kansas. Where and what's gonna happen with Kansas?
Man, dude. Okay, for those of you that don't know, I'm a Longhorns fan, diehard Longhorns fan, probably the biggest Longhorns fan you will ever meet. So I have a hatred towards Kansas, unlike most people. But that team coming into this year on paper was one of the best college basketball rosters that I had seen in a long time. Can you still hear me? I think my AirPods might have just died.
Yes. Okay. No, you're good.
Let's put this one's dead. This one's not. So that team, they got AJ Storr, transferred from Wisconsin, who actually started at St. John's. Who was a beast at St. John's. He was a stud at Wisconsin. He came over and just can't really find his footing within the team. I don't know what it is with AJ, but he just looks like a shell of himself this year. I mean, I thought maybe he was going to be an All-American, and he is not even starting for Kansas. And they got Zeke Mayo, who came over from South Dakota State, who was a stud. He's a Lawrence kid. He grew up a Jayhawks fan. He's been one of their best players, but he can also kind of shoot them out of games sometimes. And And then they have the three-headed monster that's been there for a couple of years. You got Devon Harris, KJ Adams, and Hunter Dickinson. And then they got those guys, and then I'm trying to think, they got one other transfer. Oh yeah, Ryan Griffin from Alabama, who's also a great 3-and-D wing. Can shoot the three, can play really good defense. He doesn't do anything really in between, but he's a good 3-and-D guy. But for whatever reason, they just haven't figured it out. I mean, they're preseason number one coming into this year, and they're looking at probably a 6th or 7th seed in the tournament, I would think, unless they for some reason in the Big 12 and figure it out. But yeah, I have high expectations for them this year, unfortunately, because I don't even want to say that because I hate the team. But I really thought that they were going to win the national tournament at the beginning of the year and going to be a 1 seed, and they were going to be that team. They're just not. I don't know if it's Bill Self. I don't know if it's too many good players on a team. Like, they built a super team in college basketball with their roster. I mean, their three-head monster that's been there for 2 or 3 years now. And then bringing in Griffin, Zeke Mayo, and AJ Storr. And they also brought in this little dude. His last name's Coy. I forget his first name. He came from Northern Illinois, who was a first-team all-conference guy in that. Northern Illinois, I believe, is in the MAC. He was a first-team all-conference guard in the MAC last year. Averaged like 20 points a game, and he came over too. And he's been one of their brightest spots, which is weird because I didn't think he'd be getting a lot of playing time. But yeah, if they figure it out, they have the talent. Bill Self is obviously a great coach, Hall of Fame coach. They have the coaching, they have the talent. They play pretty good defense. They just, for the most part, they did have a couple, red flags throughout the year. They played at BYU, put up like 95 and beat them by 40. So yeah, they've had their ups and downs this year, but if they get hot, they could definitely do it. I've been waiting for them to get hot for the last 2 months, and they just haven't. So I don't think it's going to randomly appear in March.
Yeah.
And if it does,
I don't think so either.
I'm in the roster to do it, but I don't think it's happening.
So I'm kind of waiting on it too. I'm like, okay, they're eventually going to click, and it just never clicked. I will say this though, going into the tournament, if they're going to be a 6, I think it's a 7 seed at the current moment. I don't want to play them though. That's the thing. I don't want to play a Bill Self Kansas team that's well coached and has a bunch of veterans on that team.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just depends on what Kansas team you're getting. If you're getting that Kansas team that got beat by 40 at BYU, I mean, I'd love to play them. They didn't look like they gave a shit in that game. I mean, BYU walked all over them. I mean, and it was it wasn't even like it was like BYU was playing an AU team that showed up and got a fucking check and left or something like that. They didn't care to be there whatsoever. There was no effort. There was no energy. The body language was terrible. So, I mean, if you're getting that Kansas team, hell yeah, I want to play them round 1. Like, let's go upset these players. But then again, like
totally fair.
For some reason, find a way to put it together. Yeah, I don't want to play them because they have a lot of talent on that team.
I agree. Anyone else you want to talk about, or give your thoughts on anyone in the entire conference in the tournament? Is he still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, hang on. It's refreshing because my AirPods just died.
No, you're good.
But can you hear and see me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can't see me.
No. Tyler has stopped recording. Tyler, refresh. Damn. All right. I don't know where he went. Is he coming back? Is he coming back? There he is. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, you're just asking if there's anything else I want to talk about. I love Michigan's odds, but after just watching them play Michigan State twice, kind of what Michigan State did, and I was just talking about how I'm not a believer in Michigan State. Michigan State just dismantled them on senior night, and then they on the road. Not by a lot, but it was convincing fashion. I think Michigan has a lot of talent. They have 2 7-footers, and one of them
plays like a guard. I mean, is Daniel Wolf. He transferred over from Yale last year,
Mm-hmm.
and he went to Yale last. Yale's also another sleeper team that I forgot to talk about. Dark Horse. They're
Yeah.
definitely going to win the Ivy League. No one's touching them in the Ivy League. They have the same team as last year, and they upset Auburn last year as a 13 seed.
Mm-hmm.
They have the exact same team except for they lost Danny Wolf to Michigan. But yeah, Danny Wolf from Michigan, he is a 7-footer who has a string on the ball. I mean, and they run 4-5 pick and roll, which is very difficult to guard. You don't see a lot of four guys running the point, if you will, and then
Mm-hmm.
having your five guy coming up and setting a ball screen. And when you have two bigs guarding that, they're not used to guarding the ball handler on a ball screen. So it's very difficult to
Mm-hmm.
guard for a lot of teams. If you don't have a bigger dude that's gentle on, or light on his feet and can move quickly, you're gonna have a tough time guarding those two guys. And they have a bunch of shooters on the outside. They need to get Sam Walters, Walters or Water, I can't remember. He need him healthy. He's a transfer from Bama. He's the best three-point shooter. Just like Katie is in the corner, has a beautiful hand stroke, and he can really fill it up from three. But he's not quite healthy right now. If they can
Mm-hmm.
get him back, that'd be huge because they're struggling to shoot the three without him. But Trey
Mm-hmm.
Donaldson is also a really good player. He came over from Auburn last year, but then again, he's not the greatest three-point shooter. Just kind of makes some questionable decisions. And Michigan averages, I think, around 15 turnovers a game, which is dead last or dead worst in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
That's their biggest red flag to me is turning the ball over. If they take care of the rock, they're going to be really, really, really tough out. But if they turn the ball over, especially in the first round, I mean, they're going to be probably 5, 6 seed, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And a 5, 6 seed, if you're getting one of those good mid majors as a 12 or 11 seed, and if they turn the ball over a lot, they could get upset in the first round. But if they take care of the ball, I could also see them getting to the Elite Eight, Sweet 16 area too.
I like it. I like it. Michigan. Okay. Michigan on the radar for sure. Who else? You got anyone else?
Um,
You talked about horses. We talked big favorites. Um, I think it's Duke's here. I really do. I think it's gonna be Dukies all the way. So that's where I
Yeah,
stand.
that's kind of what everyone. I feel like everyone kind of thinks it's Duke's year, and it has been a while since Duke's won it.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Flag is disgusting. I mean, he is the
Mm-hmm.
best player in college basketball, and he should be a senior in high school right now.
Yeah.
So it's literally insane, like what he's doing. Like I'll refer back to Ken Palm again. Ken Palm also does player rankings, and it's also based off statistics, kind of what you're doing offensively and how efficient you're doing it. He is the
Mm-hmm.
best Ken Palm player in the last 25 years. And like I said, he
Oh
should be a
shit.
senior in high school. He should be a senior in high school, and he's the best Ken Palm player in the last 25 years. It's actually insane. I mean,
I
he
didn't
leads
know
his
this.
team in minutes, points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. And I know
Mm-hmm.
some casuals, not calling you the casual, but some casuals out there might be like, well, yeah,
Casual.
no shit, he's going to do that because he has the ball in his hands all the time. But like, it's not. It doesn't really work like that. Like, yeah, maybe your points can come from that and your assists, but rebounding, effort, defense, steals, and blocks. Like, I mean, he leads his team in every category by a pretty wide margin. But the
Mm-hmm.
dude's a stud. My only concern with Duke is they are so young, and
Yeah.
youth usually comes to show in the tournament. If you look at obviously they pretty much steamrolled everybody in the ACC. They had one conference loss. It was at Clemson, which is a really tough place to play. Clemson's really freaking good. They beat Louisville handedly on the road. Other than that, they obviously beat UNC twice. I don't think UNC's that great. They're really lucky to tournament this year, I think. Other than Louisville, Clemson, Duke, there's not really many ACC teams that are really um, so they didn't really play great competition. And when they did play good competition in the non-conference, I understand this was back in November and December. But that youth really came back to haunt them in a few of those games. You look at a game like Kentucky.
Yeah.
They were like third or fourth game of the year. They were up pretty big. I want to say it was around 15, 16 points. Ended up blowing that lead and lost to Kentucky. And Kentucky has no business beating Duke this year. I love Kentucky. I think they're a great team, but they have no business beating Cooper Flag and that Duke squad. And then they had another loss to somebody else where Cooper kind of fumbled the ball at the end. I can't remember who it was, but they did beat Auburn, which was very impressive at home. But then again,
Mm-hmm.
Duke is almost impossible to beat at their place.
Yeah.
Matt Cameron in Indoor.
Yep. And Cameron Indoor.
Yeah,
Yep.
Cameron Indoor, the Cameron Crazies, like they're nuts, man. That place is difficult to play. I just think if they see Auburn on a neutral floor, Auburn gets them back. I don't see
I like
Duke
that.
beating Auburn. I don't see Duke beating Florida. But I do think Duke is really good. I just think that youth could come back to maybe bite them in a game.
Mhm.
But we'll see. They're a much better team than what they were when they played Kentucky in the preseason or in the non-conference schedule.
Okay. I like that. I mean, I probably concur with that. Like you said, I mean, we talked about with a couple teams now. It's like youth is like it's your superpower, but it's also, your biggest weakness because you haven't been through this stage. You haven't been on the floor with most of these guys.
Right.
I mean, some of these fucking teams average like 22-year-olds, and you're going up against a bunch of 17, maybe even 18-year-olds, 19. So it's definitely tough.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I agree with that.
100%.
Last thing, unless you got something else.
No, I was just kind of scrolling through some teams, seeing if there's any other teams that kind of spiked my interest. But I will say we haven't talked about any of the Mountain West teams. They got a couple of squads that are really, really good. Colorado State. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was gonna say every time from my recent memory, Mountain West teams don't go far in this tournament at all. I mean, okay,
No.
San Diego State I know is a solid team.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Other than San Diego State, the Mountain West has actually been atrocious in the tournament. San Diego State, obviously, they went to the championship game 2 years ago against UConn. But other than San Diego State, not a lot of those other teams have had really much success in the tournament at all. I'm not even sure if another team has a win in March besides San Diego State the last couple of years. Could be wrong about that.
Well, wait. I will. What did CSU go on that? Was it the run? Was it last year or the year before that they went a little run?
CSU got
because remember they had.
CSU got bounced by my Longhorns last year.
That's right. What am I thinking of? I don't know. I'm thinking of maybe I was watching the Mountain West tournament when they fucking went on a run. I don't know, but yeah.
They got squads. San Diego State's down this year. John Murray still has them in the tournament. I don't really know how, because he has them in the tournament, and he has Colorado State and Boise State, I'm pretty sure, out of the tournament, but both of those teams are above San Diego State in the conference standings, so I don't really know how that correlates, but San Diego State, to me, I don't think is a tournament team. I mean, maybe as like a last four in, maybe, but I think the teams to watch out for this year, if they can get in, like I said, a lot of these teams are on the bubble. It kind of depends on how this conference tournament goes. But you got New Mexico, who is, I think, firmly in the tournament. They won their conference. They're the one seed in the tournament, in the conference tournament. They're going to be in. They're a tough out. They have a guard, Donovan Dent, who I think will be an All-American. Stud, absolute stud. He can shoot it. He averages probably close to 7 or 8 assists a game. Super high in assists. He accounts for a lot of their points, whether it's scoring or passing. He's a stud. I do like New Mexico and the way they play defense as well. Colorado State and Boise State, two other teams that I think could be, if they get into the tournament, could make some noise a little bit, maybe upset a team or two. And it all depends on matchups as well, obviously. But there's one other team I think too. Besides, it was New Mexico.
Last time I saw Boise State was on the
Colorado
outs.
State. Utah State. Utah State's the 2 seed, I believe, in their conference tournament, and I believe Utah State is comfortably in as well. I think Joe Lenardi has Utah State, New Mexico, and San Diego State in, and Boise and Colorado kind of on the bubble. But all 5 of those teams, I'm not sold on San Diego. I'll say the other 4 teams, though, if they get in, they all play really good defense. Most of them can shoot the 3. Utah State can really light it up from 3. Bunch of good players there. I think all those teams are going to be very interesting depending on the matchup that they get in March.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not like last year where the Mountain West just is ran through left and right, and no one apologizes for running through.
On the bubbles because they don't have a very good track record of succeeding in March. They always get like 3 or 4 teams in, and it seems like they all get bounced first round except for San Diego State every year. So
Yeah,
I think this
exactly.
year could maybe be a little bit different, but we'll see what kind of love that the committee shows, the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah. All right. Last question. Do you have anything that runs your gears? If you know what I'm saying, anything the shit that runs your gears? You got anything?
Man, when it comes to college basketball, free throws. These dudes at the end of games, it's like it's brutal. But I also think it's like kind of the beauty of college basketball, and everyone wants to go to quarters, so that way the foul count resets and like takes away the 1-and-1. But I think the 1-and-1 in college basketball kind of makes college basketball. I mean, if you didn't have the 1-and-1 and they don't miss that front end, like at the end of games, if you're up 3 and you're getting fouled and you're in a 1-on-1 situation and you make that first one, like it's at 4 now and say there's 15 seconds left, it makes it a lot harder. Well, if you miss that first one, you don't get a second shot, so it's game on. You're down 3 now. I kind of think that's what makes college basketball is the 1-and-1. I'm cool with going to quarters for sure. I just don't want to see the 1-and-1 getting taken out of college basketball. I think 1-and-1 is crucial, especially when you see upsets in March. The 1-and-1, because these kids can't get free throws. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I watched a game today, and Youngstown State and Robert Morris were playing. Youngstown State was kind of down. They were down 4 with like 3 minutes left, 5 with 3 minutes left. A dude who was an 84% free throw shooter throughout the year, that's the team, foul, and he misses. And shoot foul, so it was a 1-on-1. He got 2 shots. He missed them both, man. I mean, these kids that just love the pressure of March, all that comes with it, and like the 1-game series, you're not playing 7 games. It's 1 game, you get 1 game and you're done. And I think the 1-on-1 really kind of goes in and plays into some of those upsets that we see in March. So I don't see the 1-on-1 taken away. I know a lot of people are kind of fighting for that. I mean, it's shit, which I'm really cool. But you got to find a way to keep the 1-on-1 somehow.
I like it. I like it a lot. Well, Converse, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for jumping on. Huh?
You get anything around your gears today?
I can barely hear you. What'd you say?
I said, you got anything that grinds your gears?
Fucking Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi should not be this difficult. I said it earlier.
Don't call me out like
2025.
Huh? Don't call me out like that.
I'm not calling you out because I'm having connection issues too. So I'm praying that this comes out. I'm praying this comes out. I'm praying this comes out smooth and easy, and that Riverside is amazing, and that their platform figures all this shit out. If not, we just wasted an hour and a half having fun shooting the shit. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Hey, Bruce, and what is it? It's beyond the spread or beyond
the spread. Beyond the spread.
Beyond the spread.
Yes.
Appreciate you having me on, man. I would love to do it again sometime. You know, it's that time of the year. March has started. Conference tournaments are going. Maybe we can reconvene in a couple weeks after the first couple rounds, and we can talk some upsets.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That would Chef Kiss read my mind. All right, brother.
Oh, yeah, well, thank you for having me, man. I hope everyone enjoyed this this session, this episode, whatever you want to call these things. First time on
episodes.
First time.
Tell everyone to like, comment, and subscribe. Whether it's rude or mean, just like, comment, and subscribe.
Yep, 100%. Follow me on Twitter, guys. Free sports bets if you like them.
There you go. What's the Twitter handle?
Twitter handle is, it's honestly a great question. I'm not even sure.
Oh, you're not even on it.
It's TConverse3.
There we go. Free sports bets, free live bets. He's on it all the time. Connie.
If you want to win college basketball in the tournament this year, go follow that Twitter.
There we go. There it is. All right. I appreciate it, brother. I'll talk to you.
Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it, man.
Bye. Oh. Woo! I'll call you.
Hey, recording done?
How do I end this? Yeah, we're good. I stopped it. Oh my god, that was. How do I end this though?
That was fire, bro. That's fun. We need to do that more often.
Hang on. Hey, let me get out of this. Call me in like 5 minutes. I need to figure out this. Can you leave?
Call you in 5?
Yeah.
All right, peace, homie.
Okay, bye. Can you leave? How am I able to leave? Yes, mother. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Sorry. There it goes. How do I leave?